Salve, discipuli. Alright, we're going to close out Lesson 44 Grammar today. And as promised, this video will be shorter than yesterday's video. So what you're going to learn about today is what's called a relative clause of purpose. Truth be told, this is not the most common thing. So in all honesty, if you really have a pretty good handle on that purpose clause from yesterday, you're in good shape. Or purpose clause from today, I should say, with the ut or the ne and the subjunctive. If you've got a handle on that, you're in good shape. If you can also wrap your head around this concept, you'll be in even better shape. But this is not going to make or break you. That said, you're still going to watch this video and learn it. Got it? Alright, here it goes. I'm going to reveal 4 sentences to you. They're numbered 8, 9, 10, and 11 because of reasons that I'm not going to explain. Now, the first thing we're going to do is find all of the main verbs. So I've got okideret, I've got deity, I've got okidit, I've got dedi, and at this point you'll probably realize these two sentences are related. Down here I've got audiunt and habeo, audiant and habeo. So you'll probably realize that you have verbs that are the same, and then you have verbs that are slightly different. Okay? Now, these are ultimately relative clauses. We remember that relative clauses start with a relative pronoun like qui, and 90% of the time they're going to end with a verb. And so you're going to see that right here. I'll bracket these off, or parenthesize these, if you will. I just made that word. So now you can see that we have 2 clauses in each of these. Now, in some of these, the verb in the relative clause is subjunctive. Notice okideret with the ere. This is the second principal part. Okidera plus an ending. That's an imperfect subjunctive. So I'm going to label that as subjunctive. Okidit, that's just good old-fashioned indicative. I don't need to label that. Audiunt, that's just good old-fashioned indicative. I don't need to label that. Audiant, we be the liar friar, that ia signals present subjunctive. Okay? So, the big question here is, what happens differently in these sentences when you have a subjunctive versus an indicative verb? Okay? We've already translated these indicative ones a lot. Okay? Let's look at number 9 really quickly. Number 9, gladium's accusative, got it. Mility's dative. Qui is nominative. Hostem is accusative. Alright? So we're going to tackle what's outside the parentheses first. I gave a sword to the soldier. Okay? So I gave a sword to the soldier, which killed the enemy. Alright, it's a sword which killed the enemy. Okay, that makes sense. He used the sword to kill the enemy. Good. Now, if this sentence were the same thing, but with a subjunctive verb, it would be showing purpose. Okay? So I gave a sword to the soldier, which might kill the enemy. Or, another way to think of it, I gave a sword to the soldier to kill the enemy. So you'll see that when we have a subjunctive verb here instead of indicative, it's not simply saying that this happened. It's telling you that this was the reason why this happened. Why did you give a sword to the enemy? So that the sword might kill the enemy. I'm sorry, why did you give the sword to the soldier? So that the sword might kill the enemy. I gave a sword to the soldier to kill the enemy. Alright? That's probably not very clear, but there you go. Number 10. Let's look at it here. We've got quam discipuli audiunt is our relative clause. We've got habeo orationem is our main clause. Habeo orationem means I have a speech or I give a speech. Okay. I am giving a speech. Then we have quam is accusative. and discipuli is nominative in our relative clause. So I give a speech which the students hear. Okay, so I'm giving a speech and the students are hearing it. That's what this sentence means, basically. But if we take the same sentence and make a subjunctive verb in our relative clause, it now means I am giving a speech which the students might hear. In other words, it's telling you why you're giving a speech. So we might translate this one, I am giving a speech so that the students might hear it. Okay? So, let me sum up what we just discovered here. I don't expect you to have this mastered yet, but I do want you to understand this concept. When you have a relative clause and the verb is subjunctive, it is probably showing purpose. It's probably showing what the purpose of the antecedent was. What was the purpose of the sword? To kill the enemy. What was the purpose of the speech? Down here. What was the purpose of the speech? So that the students might hear it. Okay? So a subjunctive verb and a relative clause probably tells you that it's showing purpose. Okay? If this is confusing, that's okay. We'll go over one or two more in class. Okay. Make sure you took notes, though. It's kind of late to tell you that, but you know you're always supposed to take notes. All right. Well, later.